Hello, everyone. Lovely to be here today, and thank you so much, Liz, for the warm introductions. I'm delighted to present the award winners for the Social Procurement Champion Awards as well as the Social Enterprise Champion Award. For those of you that don't know me, my name is Niamh O'Sullivan. I'm the Manager of Social Enterprise and Networks at BiSocial Canada. I joined this team in 2020, close to 5 years ago, and it's been so impressive watching the sector grow and expand ever since. As Liz mentioned, we talk a lot about at BiSocial Canada, we talk a lot about the social value marketplace. And on the demand side, we're seeing more and more purchasers include social procurement initiatives into their procurement practices. There are a variety of ways that this is happening at all levels of the marketplace, whether it's surveying existing supply chains, asking if any of your suppliers identify as a diverse owned business or as a social enterprise, then tracking and measuring these numbers, perhaps setting a baseline with these existing suppliers, or maybe even going one step further. Some purchasers are creating targets to increase their purchasing from more diverse suppliers and social enterprises over the next 5 years. Another instance we're seeing are the inclusion of social value weighting into purchasers' solicitations, so RFPs, RFIs, so on and so forth. It's no longer only about experience and lowest price, but alongside these criteria, adding in a social value weighting, which then leads to the best value procurement. We're seeing a continually increasing number of solicitations that have added social value weighting into their purchasing in geographic areas from all across the country, as well as across from a variety of sectors, including government, crown corporations, anchor institutions, and private sector procurement. I would like to begin with the Social Procurement Champion Awards. The BiSocial Canada team wants to celebrate and thank all of the nominees for their hard work and endeavours in pushing social procurement forward over the past few years. So the nominees for are Realize Solutions, BC Lottery Corporation, Halifax Regional Municipality, the City of Brampton, the Region of Peel, Providence Healthcare, Musée, the Association of Faculties of Medicine of Canada, Ottawa Community Housing, Sask Power, Community Impact Real Estate Society, Clark Builders, Solar Power Investment Cooperative of Edmonton, Assiniboine Credit Union, and the 2400 Motel. So in this category, we have three social procurement award winners. And without further ado, drumroll please, the Social Procurement Champion Award winners are Providence Healthcare, Sask Power, and Assiniboine Credit Union. Congratulations to each of you. Each of these three winners exemplifies leadership in their sectors, a commitment to measurement and reporting, and an innovative and action-driven approach. So first, oh yay, everyone's on the screen with me. First, let's talk about Providence Healthcare. For 130 years, Providence Healthcare has been at the forefront of healthcare in Canada, and now they're championing social procurement in Canada as well. For those of you who are not from the West Coast, Providence Healthcare are the owners of St. Paul's Hospital and Mount St. Joseph Hospital. They are currently halfway through construction of the new St. Paul's Hospital in the downtown east side of Vancouver. This 7-year project has a budget of over $2 billion, and they have targets to procure 10% of goods and services from social impact suppliers as part of a community benefit agreement with the City of Vancouver. So I'd like to invite Benson Lowe, the Director for Environmental Services for Providence Healthcare, to speak a little about what Providence Healthcare has done to advance social procurement and buy from social enterprise. Benson, congratulations and welcome.
Thank you so much for the great honor. Yeah, thank you so much.
My pleasure. Can you please share the story of working with social enterprises at the St. Paul's Hospital or beyond?
Sure. So I actually, we start out with the Binners. I met them through my executive director, Tony Munster, who had the pleasure of working with them at Canada Place. Coming out of COVID, our recycling waste was considered medical waste, and we needed an interventional step to ensure that we can get back into recycling stations. We worked with Sean and Nadine at the Binners, and we formed an agreement to procure services. It's been over a year and a half now. I think it's 2 years in September. It's been a great partnership. Proud to say that we are the only large acute care hospital in BC that has their waste taken to recycling stations, and that's in a large part to the work that's being done by the Binners. They're part of they're part of the fabric of our organization now, and I can't see a time when we don't have them. Their team, Dave, Amrin, Les, Aaron, they're familiar faces with our group, and just super happy to have them. We also have arrangements with Clean Start. And that actually happened by happenstance. We were at one of our Insight locations, and they happened to be doing some rubbish removal. We got to talking, and we exchanged information, and now they are our main waste haulers for furniture and recoverables. Other groups that we work with are Recycling Alternatives, Mission Possible, which we've recently had do some exterior window washing. And we've met with a lot of folks from Interested Exchange, Half Cafe, which we've explored employment opportunities, Embers, and Open Door as well. So we're looking forward to new partnerships with those groups. To me, hiring hyperlocal just makes sense. We're going to be your neighbors. We are your neighbors, and in 2027, we're just going to be that much more closer. So it just makes sense to work together and build communities together. So yeah, basically, we're following the philosophies of our mission statement: spirituality, integrity, stewardship, trust, excellence, and respect. So all these hopefully fit into the bisocial and social enterprise groups in general, their philosophies. So we are very much aligned in how we do things.
Thank you so much, Benson. That's such an amazing example of why you are the champion award winners, because it's not just one instance, there's so many examples that you can draw from, and looking at the opportunity of the gentrification of the downtown east side of Vancouver, and how can the communities that already live there, how can they benefit from that development? It's so wonderful to see. So thank you for your work and your lovely words. Now moving on to our second Social Procurement Champion Award winner. Congratulations to Sask Power. Sask Power is the utilities provider for the province of Saskatchewan and a very large Crown corporation. Sask Power's dedication to supplier diversity is evident through their comprehensive programs aimed at supporting diverse, local, and Indigenous communities. They are actively monitoring, measuring, and reporting on their social procurement spend with a strong focus on Indigenous participation. I'd like to welcome to the stage Alison O'Reilly, the specialist in supplier relationship management, procurement, and contracts. Congratulations, Alison, and welcome.
Thank you so much.
Could you please share with the audience a little more about Sask Power's efforts to include more diverse-owned and Indigenous procurement in your purchasing practices?
Yeah, for sure. I guess first off, I want to just start by saying, thank you for this honor. Our relationship is relatively new with Bisocial, so we were pleasantly surprised to get this recognition in the social procurement efforts that we've been making. I really think that for Sask Power, supplier diversity is more than just a strategy. It's really about a commitment to, making positive impacts through our purchasing decisions. And as you said, one of the largest crowns in the province, we really do try to leverage our buying power to be inclusive and make inclusive procurement decisions and support our local economy through our suppliers. So I'm happy to share. I know I don't have too much time, but happy to share some of the supplier diversity strategies that we have in place that are really impacting the companies and communities that we live in here in Saskatchewan. We do have targets in place for our local women-owned and Indigenous suppliers. So happy to report that last year we actually set two brand new records in this space for women-owned businesses and Indigenous businesses. So last year we spent with $54 million with women-owned businesses, and that's 20 million than we did the year before. So that when you take a look at that across our entire spend, that's about 4.6% of our entire spend being spent with women-owned businesses. And for our Indigenous businesses, we hit $118 million, which is also a new record, and that's 15.1% of our Saskatchewan spend. We also had implemented in 2023 some new programming that's relatively new in the province altogether. We have a Tier 2 diverse spend pilot program, so that's working with our major construction projects. Since 2023, when we implemented the program, we have spent $714 million with local and diverse businesses through just 4 projects. And so we're really excited about how this programming is really, influencing how our prime contractors here in the province are allocating their resources. And it's really influencing how they are engaging with local and diverse businesses. And it's been extremely impactful to see that a strategy from a Crown corporation can really make such an impact with those subcontractors through our projects. And those prime contractors are now looking to diverse and local businesses first when they're looking to find subcontractors.
Wow, that's really incredible. At By Social Canada, we always talk about monitor, measure, and report, and you're doing it. And it's not insignificant either. That's tens of millions of dollars, hundreds of millions of dollars. So it's so impressive, and it's concrete evidence that it can be done. You're doing it. So hopefully this inspires others to follow in your footsteps. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
For our third Social Procurement Champion Award, this financial institution has consistently been a big supporter of social enterprises in the prairies. Without their support, many certified social enterprises in Winnipeg may not be where they are today. It may come as no surprise that our next Champion Award winner is Assiniboine Credit Union. When we discuss the 3 pillars of success in the social value marketplace, we have social enterprise, social procurement, and lastly, social finance. Without this finance piece, many social enterprises would not be able to fulfill their purpose. But beyond social finance, Assiniboine Credit Union are walking the talk and prioritizing social procurement within their own purchasing. Welcome and congratulations to Brendan Raymer, the strategic partner of values-based banking at Assiniboine Credit Union.
Thank you. And like the others have said, it really is an honor to be recognized in this way. It's something that Assiniboine Credit Union has been doing for a while. I know when you asked how and why, I think part of it was just a desire to. And so even before there was a policy or a program or measures in place, people at Assiniboine Credit Union just started to look for the opportunities to do this. And so it's evolved over time. But definitely part of what's motivated us is, there's an organizational vision statement that includes the phrase, a sustainable future for all. And a mission statement where we talk about our mission as our purpose, which is the well-being and resilience of employees, members, communities, and the environment. So to work with integrity, then we try to integrate that down through all of our work and our practices, which includes how we spend our money. And so we have a governing level values-based banking policy, which makes very specific commitments to the well-being of employees, members, communities, the environment, business leadership, social finance. And within that sphere, we talk about the importance of using all of our capabilities and all of our resources, right? Whether that's time, expertise, finance, our role as an employer, all of these things, but also our role as a purchaser. And we further clarified how we do that with a sustainable procurement policy that was brought in a few years ago. And now we've been starting to work that into both the culture and the practice of how people make their decisions. Part of what's been really interesting is working with vendors and in the RFPs, including criteria for living wage, for example. And it's a great opportunity to have a conversation with vendors who may not have thought of that before or aren't sure how to do it. But when they become clear that an important possible contract has that as a requirement, they're highly motivated to find a way to make it work. So those have been some pieces for us. I'd say another part of it in the business leadership space is also promoting the idea of it. And so whether it's conversations at the chambers or in the business schools, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, maybe the city of Winnipeg was looking at a sustainable procurement policy, and our CEO took the time to write a letter to mayor and council encouraging to pass this, saying we're doing it, it works, but we all need to do our part, and we hope you do as well. So we know that using our voice to encourage others to do this is really important also. It's been interesting. I mean, yeah, there's the business case for it in terms of the value it brings and the reputation and the connections and the brand you can build through this. But I have to say, it for us over the last 20 years, it really comes from the heart. And it's knowing the stories of impact that are created when you rent meeting space from a nonprofit and where that money goes, or when you buy lunch from somewhere, or you use your electronic recycling with Mother Earth Recycling and Indigenous Social Enterprise. And then getting tours of these places and just really understanding the impact you're creating by the choices you make. And we often talk about how, yes, we give out $500,000 in small grants to community-based organizations, but we track and measure our purchases from nonprofits, cooperatives, B Corps, Indigenous-owned businesses, locally owned businesses, and purchases that are very specifically fair trade and environmentally sustainable. And while we give out $500,000 in grants, last year it was $25.1 million in purchases from these kinds of organizations and businesses. So we sometimes talk about every dollar we spend is a vote for the kind of world we want to live in. And so 25.1 million times we found ways to direct dollars to these kinds of organizations. We have more work to do, though. We're excited about some of the evolutions. I think Selena was talking about the ownership piece, right? So we've done local, and we just merged with 2 other credit unions this past year. So we're breaking down local now into rural communities and francophone communities, because the other credit unions were rural and francophone. So we want to intentionally and deliberately purchase from businesses and owners from those communities and be able to report back to our merger partners that we are investing our purchasing dollars into your communities. We are honoring your legacy and your kind of past focus, and we are going to continue with that with our purchasing dollars. And so we have an opportunity now to integrate these practices across an organization that's now twice the size that it was last year. And that's exciting as well. And we do want to get more refined at some of the ownership pieces. We've looked at some of the legal structures, if you will, right? Nonprofits and certifications and different things. But we'd love to know more than just the organizations we're buying from. We'd want to know the people we're supporting by doing so.
That's incredible. Thank you so much, Brendan. So many wonderful examples of how you've contributed positively in Winnipeg and beyond. And we're really excited to see what happens next, especially as you've doubled in size. Like how much further can you influence? And $25 million is not insignificant at all. So thank you. Maybe I'll go back to Alison. I'd love to hear what's next for Sask Power as you continue to champion social procurement in your sector and in Saskatchewan.
Sure. I guess what's next, we probably are going to be doing a deep review of our strategies. We're coming up on our 5th year of our women-owned business strategy, so it's time to sit down and take a look at that. Make sure we can identify ways to continue to improve and continue to further advance it, looking at things like metrics and targets and ensure that we're continuing to challenge ourselves to meet those. Looking at things like engagement efforts, sponsorships, even looking at targeted development plans for our suppliers in those spaces. And then, of course, gathering information, that is from our different areas of our supply chain where we can, make sure we're taking all different perspectives for that strategy into consideration as we move forward. A big focus for me personally this year, I am very focused on, looking to increase awareness and involvement from other large organizations in Saskatchewan. We are the only Crown that is including women-owned businesses. Many now are starting to include Indigenous businesses in their evaluation criteria. Something like Brendan said about, using our voice, using our influence to try and bring more large organizations in alignment with what we're doing. And we do know that if others are doing it, there'll be more impact for suppliers. If everyone is recognizing diversity and allowing for evaluation points and engaging with diverse and local suppliers, the benefits will be bigger the more people that are doing it. So SaskPower has started to do a few things. We're sharing our declarations and templates and things like that so that we can allow for other organizations to kind of have a starting point that isn't from scratch. We're sharing our database, our diverse vendor database publicly so that other Crowns and government and our prime contractors can see which organizations are already working with SaskPower that are diverse. And we've implemented, just recently initiated a supplier diversity kind of implementation guide. It's a little bit of a training session where, we've been delivering this to other large organizations in the hopes that, we can kind of share our journey, our lessons learned on implementing a supplier diversity program, so that, we can share some of those lessons learned and the challenges that we experienced and some of those successes, and hopefully make it a little bit easier for others to start implementing their own programs. We also often highlight in this training that, you don't have to have this big formal program in place and these really large metrics and impressive metrics to get started. Some of the conversations we have in this training is really just around just start tracking what you're spending. Internally, you don't have to report it to anyone. You can just start tracking it and just see where you're spending your money. And I'm sure once everyone starts looking, you're able to see and identify that baseline, so then you can just start to slowly improve on those things. And it doesn't have to be this big formal strategy, even thinking about how you're engaging with suppliers, start attending diversity events, start attending these social procurement opportunities to engage with networks and just learn, so we often talk about things like that. So we've delivered it a few times to a couple of different large organizations across the province, actually across Canada. And, just in the intent just to share our journey, lessons learned, and really just to inspire others to kind of get on board. So yeah, we're really proud of all of the efforts we've made in this space. But again, like someone else said earlier, there's a lot of work to be done and we don't plan on taking our foot off the gas. So
yeah. Thank you so much, Alison. That's incredible. And I love that you're sharing your learnings with everyone, so you can continue to inspire and champion this work. And lastly, Benson, what's next for Providence Healthcare?
Well, we're going to continue what we're on the path that we're undergoing. We're looking for any opportunities to partner up with social enterprise groups. We're also looking to hire, doubling our workforce for New St. Paul's. So looking at how we can integrate our hiring strategies with local employment groups like Embers, Open Door have to make available the training, what skills are needed to apply for these jobs. Yeah, we're just sorry, I didn't. Yeah, it's just a matter of looking for the opportunities. We've looking through our retail purchases. I know that East Van Roasters were recently added to our vendor list for coffee, and Spirit Bear has always been there. But yeah, just looking at local procurement as well as our hiring practices.
Yeah, that's incredible. Sounds like you're being very proactive and projecting what are the opportunities, a few years out, and giving people lots of time to plan accordingly and place, create training opportunities and, think strategically about the workforce development 2-3 years ahead of these opportunities coming up.
It's happening a lot sooner than that. Our first operational readiness began months ago. Our hiring will probably begin late fall.
Amazing.
It's just that upskill and just getting folks in the building to do hands-on training.
Well, thank you so much to all of the Social Procurement Champion Award winners, and I really appreciate all of you coming here today and sharing your learnings with everyone attending. So big congratulations and thank you.
Thank you
So
very much.
thank you. Our final award for the day is the Social Enterprise Champion Award, which, as our CEO Liz already mentioned, we present in honor and memory of our friend and By Social Canada founder David LePage, who sadly passed away last year. Prior to his first attempt at retirement, which was launching By Social Canada, he was a founding member of the Social Enterprise Council of Canada, and he ran Enterprising Nonprofits, an organization focused on supporting the development and launch of many new social enterprises all across the country. David's generous spirit and enduring commitment to the social value marketplace have created a stronger social enterprise sector, and we likely wouldn't be celebrating this award without his decades of work. The By Social Canada team wants to celebrate and thank all of the nominees for their hard work and endeavours in championing social enterprise. A big shout out to the nominees, Musée, The Raw Carrot, Radicare Ventures, Untapped Accessibility, Ongan, the Family Centre of Northern Alberta, FSEAP, Options Mississauga, Smart Ice, Soul Bite Food, MCIS Language Solutions, U Multicultural, the Horizon Achievement Centre, Smelling Pink, Upbeat Artworks, Build Inc., New Dawn Enterprises, Bike Valet, Persons Community Solutions, Compost Winnipeg, Care Possible, the YWCA Health and Fitness Centre, YWCA Hotel Vancouver, Diversity Skills Training Centre, Flourish Botanical Goodness, Operation Grow, Community Impact Real Estate Society, Binners Project, MP Maintenance, Indigenous PEI, Interpreter Services Toronto, Goodfoot Delivery, Just Like Family Home Care, the Solar Power Investment Cooperative of Edmonton, and Diversity Food Services. Whew, that's a lot. So without further ado, the winner of this year's Social Enterprise Champion Award is Community Impact Real Estate Society. Congratulations. Welcome, Steve. As a double nominee for both awards today, Ceres is a strong champion of both the social enterprise and social procurement movements. They demonstrate an innovative approach, create significant impacts in their community, and inspire and lead change within the social enterprise sector and beyond. Ceres is an incredible social enterprise that is dedicated to community economic development and the creation of complete inclusive neighborhoods through commercial real estate. By curating a diverse portfolio of rental properties that balance both market and non-market tenants. This includes small businesses, nonprofits, and social enterprises. Ceres actively contributes to thriving, equitable economies. So as you can see beside me here is the wonderful Steve Johnston, the Executive Director at Ceres, to share with us some information about Ceres. Hello
Yeah,
and
thank you.
welcome.
Thank you. Very pleased to be here and very honored to be selected from such a list of outstanding partners in this work and amazing social enterprises. I feel like all of them are deserving to win this award. So we're grateful to be here, but to work in collaboration with all these folks to make our communities better, more equitable, and economically resilient. So really pleased for that. Excuse me. And also, I think I just need to recognize that none of our work would be possible at Community Impact Real Estate without David LePage. So it's a double honor to receive this award that recognizes his contributions, given how much he contributed to the origins of Community Impact Real Estate. For those of you that might not know, David was one of the early folks in community that recognized that commercial real estate in neighborhoods like the downtown east side could be utilized and leveraged to create greater value and economic development for low-income residents. He seized upon this idea and fought until Ceres became a reality. And we're deeply grateful for his creativity, his ingenuity in launching this particular organization. So it's really special to receive this award in his name or in his honor. And I just wanted to add that we'll be donating our award back to the Social Enterprise Policy Fund in David's name so that it pays forward to future social enterprises and investments in the sector.
Thank you so much, Steve. That's so kind and generous.
It's the right thing to do, and we want to pay that forward. So to continue to honor his particular legacy.
Hmm.
Yeah.
So, as a social enterprise, can you tell us how does Sirius use its real estate assets and operations to create community benefit while remaining
Yeah.
financially sustainable? And
We do
what?
that in, I think, two really unique ways. One is embedded in all of our leases are what we call social benefit covenants. So an ask or a requirement of our tenants to do something more with their business or their not-for-profit to support local communities. I think this is a really innovative tool that I don't know anyone else is using, to use physical space and the tenants who occupy it to create greater community economic development value. So what that means in reality is some of our tenants are in hospitality and they provide meal programs to residents who live in mixed-use social housing buildings. Others are hiring locally from community to meet their objectives, and others still are redirecting their procurement efforts so that they're shopping and purchasing locally from social enterprise suppliers. So we're really able to leverage the leasing structure, which is a very technical document, to partner with our tenants to create greater community economic development opportunities for low-income residents in Vancouver, and particularly the downtown east side. Second thing we do is redirect our surpluses, our excess revenue, back into our social enterprise tenants. So we lease property, our tenants pay, and then we take those revenues and make investments into all of the folks, both within our portfolio and the folks who service the portfolio. So for example, we hire Mission Possible to do all of our exterior building maintenance. So that revenue goes to support a local social enterprise. When we do catering, we partner with a variety of local organizations like Potluck or Have Cafe Society or others. Sometimes we'll have tenants in the social enterprise sector who need some strategic capital investments to grow and further their business. We're able to take some of our revenue and redirect it into helping them acquire those assets so that they can expand their market share, the number of folks that they hire, and their reach into community. So it really, social enterprise is at the very core of what we are. It's also prioritized in how we spend. And it is the ultimate objective of the organization to grow and advance those enterprises to serve low-income residents.
Wow, it's incredible. Thank you for sharing. I love that we get the opportunity to share about Sirius with everyone participating on this call, because obviously we're very familiar, and it's such an amazing organization.
Yeah, thank you.
We're pretty tight on time, but I'd love if you could, in a few short sentences, say, what's next for Sirius.
Sure. So we've just launched a social enterprise property management company,
Oh,
which will allow us to do third-party property management services for a whole host of folks, nonprofit housing providers and others. And the value there is not just in identifying a new revenue stream to support our work, but also to expand the marketplace for the social enterprise contractors that we use to service our properties. So it expands their reach into other markets. Also, we're talking to other municipalities across the country about how this revenue, this model can be exported. So we're hopeful to see the work that we're doing here and the innovation that we've demonstrated and learned in Vancouver expand to other cities in Canada. So the city of Toronto is quite interested in our work, and we're talking with groups like Toronto Community Housing and the municipal government there about what our model could look like in the city of Toronto. So both growing our social enterprises that we own and our reach into other municipalities across the country.
that's amazing. Well, thank you so much, Steve. Thanks for coming today, and congratulations once again.
Oh, thank you.
Big
My pleasure.
Big thank you to all of our award winners, Assiniboine Credit Union, Providence Healthcare, and Sask Power, on this well-deserved recognition. Next on today's agenda, we're going to invite you all to join a breakout room to network and share learnings. And while in these breakout rooms, you're welcome to say hi and chat about what brought you to this event today and how you show up to champion social procurement and/or social enterprise in your organization or sector. We will then return at 10:55 Pacific time or 1:55 Eastern time for a panel on strong supply chains and resilient communities, where we'll hear from purchasers who are contracting with and purchasing from social enterprises and other diverse suppliers to strengthen their supply chains and build community wealth and resilience. So thank you all and see you all soon in the breakout rooms. Enjoy the rest of the event.